Hey everybody. I wanted to go over what you need to do for the physical constants sheet. If we look at your lab rubric, you'll see it says physical cons. Okay, sometimes it'll say PC or phys cons, but that's the physical constants sheet. Okay, and this may be one of the most important sheets that you can have to begin with, and a lot of times I will check that this is filled out before you even get to lab. Now, this is a digital thing that it doesn't have to be digital. You can definitely handwrite the version, but if you go to Professor Sherlock's website, chemistrysolutions.com, and then scroll down to the CHE 241 site, you can then see down here it says template for physical constants. Okay, I've already downloaded a couple versions. You can see the download thing. So when I open this up, this whole thing comes out. Okay, now if you want to print this off on your own and then fill it out by hand, that's fine. You can also, if you want, type in things here like this and then print it off. But whatever you do, make sure you fill out all the categories or all the columns that you can. Okay, many people will look at this and they'll say, "Oh, well, here's molar weight. Where's molar weight? How do we figure that out?" Well, remember back in, intro chem, high school, college, whenever it was, you had to calculate molar masses by doing that. Okay. Now you can look it up on Google if you want, or you can calculate it if you know what the formula of ethanol is. And by this point, I hope that you may know what ethanol is, just from the kind of few couple of days in organic that you've had. So that is something that you're going to need to make sure you do. And then you're going to have to find the melting point, boiling point, the density, and then solubility here. You want to know if it's soluble in ether, okay, or water, ether. And so you may, and in this case, what we're looking for is just a yes or a no, okay? We're not necessarily looking for, slightly soluble or a level. We're just looking, is it soluble or not soluble? Okay. Now, and then this thing, NDT, this is called index of refraction, and I'll write that right here, index of refraction. Now that's important because we actually have refractometers in the lab, and we're going to use the refractometers to see how pure something is. So, many of you will spend time looking at stuff on Google, but I have a different idea for you. And that idea has to do with this book. Let me make it bigger here. So this is the Handbook of Chemistry and Physics. There's one of these in the library. There's a couple in the lab. And I'm actually going to send you one digitally through Google that I have. But what this is a huge reference book for all sorts of, you guessed it, physical constants. So it may be hard to see here, but if I look down here, I can see ethanol. Okay? Now, here's ethanol, or version is ethyl alcohol. Now, the reason why I may want to use this as opposed to Google search is because, look, it's coincidental. Not really, but it's, here's the molecular weight, and it's in grams per mole, 46.07. And here's the boiling point, and the melting point, and the density, and the index of refraction. And it also tells you whether it is soluble in ethanol, acetone, whatever. Ether, ETH is ether, water, in what things is it soluble. So this book has all the information right through it, and it's like looking something up in the in the dictionary. This is basically a dictionary for physical constants. So this is the CRC. Okay, this is the Handbook of Chemistry and Physics, better known as the CRC. Okay, and like I said, I'll send that to you. But when you use the CRC, notice you can fill this all in, almost all of it. Now, specific for the first lab, these, you're not going to have anything in these boxes here, okay? And you're not going to have anything in this box here. You're only going to use this box for this guy, okay? So this is going to be, because you're using 50 milliliters of solution and it's roughly 1-to-1, this is going to be 25 here, okay? 25, and then you want to know milliliters, okay? I say that because this isn't a unit of grams per milliliter. It's not density. This is either, this should be grams, or, you know, milliliters. That way you know that what the heck is going on, okay? Like, and why the difference? Because liquids, like we're dealing with in this lab, are measured in volumes, and so we use milliliters, and solids are measured in gases, so we use grams. Okay, and that should be a lowercase g. So, so I think that covers all the columns here, right? Your CHP number that you made up, the compound, its molar weight from the CRC, how much you're using in the lab, 25 milliliters. These columns, we'll talk about them later at a different time. The melting point, the boiling point, the density, and then its solubility and H2O, ether, and alcohol, and then its particular index of refraction. Yep, that's all the categories there. And I will tell you that also at the bottom, later on, there are some things that you need to fill out. Starting with experiment 3, where we worry about mole ratios and what's the limiting reactant and things like that. But again, more on that when we get to that specific lab. Now, the other thing that I want to show you with the physical constants, and I'm gonna call this up. So, okay, and again, I probably should have been a little more prepared and printed one off. But okay, here's what you're gonna do. You probably have it printed off, right? Here's your physical constants printed off. Very few people actually handwrite that. Okay, but on page 108. Again, header, you're going to put a header on each page, Lab 1, simple distillation. And then underneath it, you're going to put physical constants. Okay. Whew. That's cool. And now you're going to have this sheet. I have had so many people have this printed off sheet and they cut it, they do all sorts of things to try and make this thing fit in there and make it look good. Okay, here's legit really what you need to do. Okay, what you want to do is when you get it, and so this is the face of this thing. Okay, you're going to have the physical constants here. Really, all you need to do is take it and fold it in half. Okay, you fold it in half, and then you affix it in your lab book so that it opens this way, and you tape the edges all the way around it. Now, if you want to become a really good friend to people, you'll buy a roll of Scotch tape, and you will keep it in your lab area so that everybody can borrow it, and you can just affix your physical constant sheet in here. Okay, and so this is how you deal with the physical constants and the fact that many people fill it out online, digitally, and then you have to turn it in. So print it off, tape 3 sides, call it a day, fold it, and now that fits in there. And don't forget then to update your table of contents, page 108, and this is physical constants. Okay? So there it is. That's the physical constant sheet. Life is good.